Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me. Please be sure and subscribe and ring that little bell, although it's down below. Click on it and you'll be notified every time I upload a new movie review. And also visit our Facebook group called Movie Review Mom. Thanks. Now, today the movie I'm reviewing is Cats. This movie is rated PG. It's 1 hour and 50 minutes. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is a D for disappointing and just weird. And I feel so badly giving it such a bad grade because you could tell they worked really hard on the movie. And I just feel so terrible to just sort of dismiss it with such a bad grade. Let me give you a quick overview, and then I'll tell you some things I liked and didn't like, as well as tips for parents and some themes that you can talk about if you do see the movie. So first of all, in a quick nutshell, directed by Oscar winner Tom Hooper, this adaptation of one of the longest running shows on Broadway is leaving audiences slightly horrified and mostly disappointed. Now, Tom Hooper is also directed that gorgeous movie Les Miserables back in 2012, which I loved. So I had really high hopes for this movie. Sadly, this movie is a catastrophe. It's not perfect. Okay, enough cat puns. So back when I was in college, I actually saw Cats on Broadway. I couldn't afford the expensive regular tickets, but they had this standing only area for really poor people like students and me, so that we could watch the show standing up. So we didn't get a seat. Can you believe that I stood for 2 hours watching this show on Broadway? I wanted to see it because it was so popular back in the day, but I always thought that the stage play was just kind of odd and bizarre and mostly nonsensical. And sadly, this movie is even weirder with the CGI and the imbalance of tone and acting. Someone in the theater where I sat and watched this movie was snoring so loudly that the audience started to laugh. There's just something kind of mind numbing and even boring about the movie that just defies description. Will there be people who like this and think my movie review is unfair? Probably. Could there be a cult following of this movie made up of people who love to laugh at it because it's so bad and ridiculous? Probably. It's just not good, and it's so disappointing because I wanted it to be really good. A lot of people were freaked out by the trailer, and I was like, it could be good. I had hope, and it's just bizarre. Anyway, some tips for parents are maybe kids will like it, maybe kids will be traumatized by it. I don't know. There's a surprising amount of sexual tension among these cats. I don't know if your young kids will pick up on that or not. And like the rest of us, kids won't quite understand what's going on. They might like the singing and dancing and just be entertained, but they won't be able to follow the story that much for what the story is. Now, some positive themes are kindness to others, hope for a better life, and we all just want to be needed and wanted. And those are really good themes. So, some things that I really liked about the movie are, first of all, Andrew Lloyd Webber actually wrote some new songs for the movie. Yay! Unfortunately, the lyrics to most of the songs just don't make that much sense. The singing and dancing are fine, but if you really try to pay attention to the lyrics and the story, it's just bizarre. In today's age of female empowerment, this is the first time the character Old Deuteronomy is actually represented by a female. In this case, Dame Judi Dench. Do you ever know why, or did you ever wonder why they call her Dame Judi Dench? It's the female equivalent of Sir, as in Sir Ian McKellen. So here we have these two knighted actors in this show, and so maybe that's part of it, is we expected it to be so epic and amazing because of these two actors that are in it. Two Oscar winners are Jennifer Hudson and Dame Judi Dench, and Sir Ian McKellen was nominated but didn't actually win. They give solid performances, but the rest of the movie just doesn't seem to match their level of drama, which is partly why there's a mismatch of tone. So you might actually be wondering, why would Judi Dench be interested in doing this film? But actually, many years ago, she was going to play in the Broadway musical Cats. And so I'm sure that she was hoping that this experience would fulfill that dream from long ago. Francesca Hayward, sorry, is the principal ballerina at the Royal Ballet and just a joy to behold. She's so graceful and lovely. Now, her vocal abilities don't match the caliber of the others in the play, nor her dancing abilities, but she's still super sweet and just lovely as the hopeful and innocent cat Victoria. I would really like to see her in something else just because I was intrigued by her. There is some good dancing, as I mentioned, although it's nothing really we haven't seen before, unfortunately. Now, Jason Derulo plays Rum Tum Tugger and is so charismatic and fun to watch. Very quirky, but he's got just some great charisma. So it was fun to see him in the movie. The cast includes Taylor Swift, Francesca Hayward, Idris Elba, Dame Judi Dench, Sir Ian McKellen, as I mentioned, Rebel Wilson, James Corden, Jason Derulo, and Jennifer Hudson. I mean, that's an all-star cast, right? So the movie should have been fantastic. And I don't know if it's just because the Broadway play is just bizarre. And then to try to add CGI on top of it made it worse. Again, Tom Hooper as a director is very good. So I'm not sure what quite went wrong. A lot of reviewers and critics are saying it's just that whole CGI thing that just messed with people. I don't know. So some things that I didn't like is I mentioned the CGI, and in fact when the very first trailer came out, it got a ton of dislikes because people were freaked out by the CGI slash human cat appearances. And some things about it look good. Like I love the little ear twitches and the tail twitches that actually look pretty realistic. But at other times, it just looks like people are wearing really weird costumes and kind of creepy on certain body shapes and sizes. I was especially embarrassed looking at Taylor Swift, because cats aren't built like that. Idris Elba and in his tight cat suit, and Rebel Wilson in particular, those three, I was like, oh. And then some of, I don't know, I always thought it was really weird that some of the cats wear fur coats in the stage play. And so, of course, they do in this movie as well, which is just weird. And then some cats wear clothes, which is just weird. So as much as I like Rebel Wilson and James Corden, and I really do, I like them both, their roles didn't seem to match the rest of the tone of the movie. It felt like they were in a different movie, like they were in a comedy and everybody else was in a musical. And then there were a few people that were in a drama. So it just, all of that seemed really weird. And then there were some characters that were introduced and then they were left hanging at the end with no real closure, which was strange. And Jennifer Hudson is incredibly talented, and I really like her. But it made me feel sad that in every scene she was in, she was crying with a runny nose. And she seemed to be taking the movie a lot more seriously than anybody else. But her performance was great. I'm just saying, in comparison, everybody's singing these Jellicle songs, and then she's crying and, with the runny nose. I don't know. The shot selection was noticeably bad and strange, which was surprising. And then I was kind of awkwardly embarrassed for Sir Ian McKellen when, he licked his paws and acted so much like a cat. Yet I was also impressed with his dedication to the role. He seemed more cat-like than anybody else, I think. All right. I feel so badly again to just trash this movie, but I want to give you the heads up in case you have high hopes or in case you're wondering if you should spend your hard-earned money and your precious time on this movie. I would say wait till maybe it's on Netflix and then you can just sort of fast fast forward. I don't know. It was just really disappointing. Anyway, be sure and visit moviereviewmom.com, where I've written down just a bunch of really silly cat lines that are in the movie, as well as some interesting lines. And normally I put in my movie review online movies that I would recommend if you like this movie, but so far nobody I've talked to likes this movie. So I would just recommend see a different movie. That sounds so terrible. Anyway, there are a lot of great movies in theaters right now to choose from. So I hope you find something great and have a wonderful time at the movies. Bye for now.